toward two. And great. Okay, so let's go. Let's get going. So we're going to do a little bit of a different starting sequence today. So instead of going right into breathing, we're just going to do a little bit of called silk reeling for our joints, especially of the wrists, because even though it's getting warmer, I think with all of us typing and on devices, I don't know, I feel like I could use a little bit of oiling of the joints. So we're just going to clasp the hands together and then moving almost like you're spiraling your wrists. We're just going to go nice and slow to start going in one direction, really focusing on stretching the boundaries. So you want to get a nice stretch. So this is really joint mobility is basically what this is, helping to open up all of these little nooks and crannies that can get a little stuck. And then let's go in the opposite direction. Going in the opposite direction, there's always like with any movement, right? There's like where we feel a natural movement, and then we go in the opposite direction or using the opposite hand. It's always a little like, ooh, that feels a little trickier, but it's good. It's like a good mind exercise. So just oiling the joints here. And then we're going to stretch. So what you're going to do is keep your hands clasped. You're going to make almost like two right angles with your wrists. And so you're using your hands just to open up. So the top hand, you're opening up the outside of the wrist. The one that's on the bottom, you're opening up the bottom, the inside of the wrist. And then you can switch. So now the top arm is your right, bottom arm your left. So you're opening up, think of these as like gateways. So if energy tends to get stuck in the big joints. So the wrist, the elbow, shoulder, hip, knee. So this is just a really great way of opening up some of the areas that get a little bit stuck. And then let's keep the hands clasped. And then we're just going to stretch the arms up overhead, reaching up. And as you do, tuck your chin down. So you're opening up, you're stretching up with your arms, but you're actually stretching the back of your neck here. And then keep your hands clasped. Just now bring them down. So you're pressing now towards the earth. And as you do, you're going to look up. So you're stretching the front of the neck. This is also where the thyroid gland is. So it's a really great way to open up, bring some energy, blood flow to the thyroid gland. Let's do that again. So stretching up and then tuck your chin down. And then bring your arms so you're stretching down towards the earth. Then look up. And then bring your hands to neutral. And now we're going to keep your hands clasped. We're going to press forward. And as you do, you're going to tuck your chin down again and exhale. And then you're going to bring your palms in towards as you inhale. So inhale, come in, and then exhale, press away. You're almost making your chest a little concave here. And then inhale, bring in. And then exhale, push away. And then again, inhale. And exhale. So this is going to be our breathing exercise now. So we're doing a little bit more of an active breath work. So nice full inhale. And then as we exhale, really think about emptying the lungs as we exhale. And then one more time, inhale. And exhale. And then one more movement We're going to reach up again as we inhale. And then as we exhale, bring the palms back, hands back down. And as we exhale, try to bring your elbows together. You can bend your knees slightly as we exhale. Just think of like squeezing all of the air out as you bring your elbows closer together. And then inhale, inflate and reach up. And then exhale, again, squeezing the elbows towards one another. As you exhale, you can chuck your chin down. And then again, inhale and exhale. Let's do it once more. Nice, juicy inhale. And exhale. Let your arms drop down. Okay, that was more of an active breath work today. So let's now go into knocking on the door of life. Moving from the hips and the waist. I always come back to those cues because it's a good reminder. Sometimes we forget, right? We do these movements quite often. So it's always good to go back to the fundamentals and the foundation, looking at it from a new lens, like, oh yeah, like I see how I feel when there's a slight weight shift, but not really that much in this iteration. I feel that I'm knocking across my lower abdomen and my back. And my arms are nice and loose. And then let's come up just below the collarbone. And then to the top of the shoulders. Let's come back down below the collarbone. And then back down to the waist. And start to unwind. All right. So I'm feeling a little bit moving the body like a river today. So let's come to a wider stance. And let's start a little more perpendicular than, well, at least that I usually do. So instead of coming all the way forward, let's just start rotating or shifting the weight right to left. And just let the upper body be nice and loose. So you see there's a little lateral flow of the spine. Just maybe placing awareness, even though we can't see the spine, right? Just sense it. Sense the opening as we move side to side, opening the vertebrae from side to side. And then now, if you want to come a little further forward, hands can stay on the thighs. And remembering to breathe. You want to go a little more slowly. See how that feels. Or if you feel like today you want to go a little bit quicker, it's a little more yang and activating. starting to build a little bit of heat. And then think about the head, neck, and shoulders. Be nice and loose. So we're working to build some strength in the legs, but we're also relaxing into the movement. And then let's come to the center. Extend the arms way up. And then either fold all the way forward, or you can just bring your hands to your thighs if you don't feel like having your head below your heart today. But if you feel okay, then just let the crown of your head reach towards the earth. Really great to open up the back of the legs. And our heads are huge. Our heads are like 10 pounds. So it's like, a bowling ball, the top of your spine. So it really is great to decompress. The big noggin is helping to create some traction. And then slowly roll up. And now, instead of going into another round of moving the body like a river, let's do a little swimming dragon. So we're going to come to the palms are going to come to the center of the chest. That same weight shift. So let's start shifting the weight over to the left, and then the hands come across horizontally over to the left, and then you turn and look towards the right, and then come back to the center. And as you come to the center, maybe dip down slightly and then shift the weight over to the right, and then you turn and look left. So a little more flow with this now. So inhale and then exhale. So you're stretching the arms across, turning and looking in the opposite direction, getting a little bit of the strength building in the legs. Also hip opening. And again, if you want to be a little more upright, that's totally fine too. It's whatever feels right for you in this moment. Or you want to go really deep, really getting into the hips here. I'm doing this pearl of consciousness training for, it's a style sequence of qigong, and there's a lot of this holding this stance for an extensive period of time, and wow, it's amazing how much energy that takes. Let's come to the center now. Heart to the sky. Inhale and exhale, and then inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, let's bring our feet back to a closer stance. So we're going to do a little bit of balance work today. Also working on weight shifting. So these are actually Tai Chi kicks, which are different than other kicks because they're done very slowly as a way to work on balance and strength and core work and being present. We have to be much more attentive when we're going slow and doing these balancing acts. So we're going to start with shifting the weight over to your left. And as we do, you're going to crisscross at the forearms. Now you're going to raise the right foot, right knee, I should say. And as we do, you're going to separate your hands. And as you do, your knee can be lower if you need to. You're going to kick forward. And then slowly come down to the center. and then weight shift over to the right. You're gonna raise your left knee as your arms are crossed the forearms. And then you're gonna separate the hands as you kick that foot out. And then slowly come back to the center. Weight shift, crisscross the arms. And then inhale, start to separate as you kick. You can be very low, that's totally fine. However, whatever feels good for you. You want to start challenging yourself. Inhale and exhale, maybe a little bit higher. Right? But it's really about it's control, right? We're moving very slowly. So here's the balance, right? And then strength as we pull that knee in, that core strength, flexibility, right? And then going really slowly as we come back to the center. There's a lot going on simultaneously. And then shift. Inhale. Exhale. As we come down. So shifting. Inhale. Exhale. Down. Coming over. If you need a chair or something around you to help, that's totally fine. Whatever you need, even just coming to the standpoint where we're like lifting our knees slightly. If you have to keep your foot on the ground, that is totally fine. You can work up to bringing your knee up and your leg out. But you see that this requires, again, attention, balance, core strength, some flexibility. And then inhale. Exhale. We'll do this once more to each side. Coming across. Inhale. Exhale. Down. And then inhale. Exhale. Now let's come to the center. And shake everything out. Tai Chi kicks. So Tai Chi is similar to Qigong. Qigong predates Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a more of a martial arts form of movement, very similar to Qigong, but there's a sequence. So it's almost like you're doing a dance routine. It's a very specific sequence, and you learn a sequence over the course of sometimes months, and it's very precise. And it's about, moving with an opponent and how are you moving your energy to minimize your output and maximize what you're trying to do. Very fantastic practice, but it takes a lot more. It's more memory because you have to learn a whole sequence. But it's very beneficial. Take everything out. And then start to slow down. And let's just pause for a moment. So we're going to do something called pulling the Gossamer thread into or with open the flow to the 6 directions, which we'll go through. But first, let's just go back to the basics and do a little straight up open the flow. So the arms are nice and loose. And then just think of little strings attached to the outer wrists. So when we inhale, think about someone pulling those strings. So your arms float up to about shoulder height on the inhale, and then exhale, the arms float back down. And then inhale. And exhale. So with thinking of that string, the wrists are nice and loose. The hands are nice and soft. Just inhaling, filling up like a big balloon, and then exhale, coming back down. So you can keep your eyes open or you can try closing them. Just feel how your body's moving. Think about a balloon inflating, and we're just rising up and expanding on the inhale, and then exhale, floating back down. This is an opportunity. This is literally moving meditation. So we're allowing our mind to be relaxed but focused, right? Allowing the body to move as the breath moves, right? As we inhale, right? There's a movement that expands the body. And then as we exhale, everything softens and sinks back down. Opening the flow, right? Whereas opening the potential of that flow state for us to experience that flow state where we feel integrated, we feel part of this, our environment, that we're connected to something bigger that connects us. Right? We're just allowing this vessel, this body, our emotions, our mind, different iterations of who we are, experiencing that flow state, just tuning into what the space around us feels like, how we're moving like a fish moving through water. And starting to tap into the more subtle energies. I love this, the way of thinking about energy is like radio waves, right? We have all of these radio waves that are invisible. We can't see them, right? And we, right now at least, I can't hear any music, right? But if we have a radio, we have a specific device that's designed to tap into those frequencies, we can hear the music. So just like energy is floating, we're literally immersed in it. We're using these tools and techniques to start to tap into the energy that is here, but we don't necessarily perceive it. So in the next exhale, if your eyes are closed, if you can open them. So pulling the Gossamer thread, we're going to do open the flow to the 6 directions, but using our fingertips as a means of pulling on these like threads of energy. So you're going to touch your thumb and your first finger as we inhale and pull back in towards your shoulders. Now we're going to push out, but touch now your thumb and your middle finger and push forward. Now thumb to ring finger as you inhale back in. Now thumb to your pinky as you reach to the sides. Now all fingers together as you pull into the center and then exhale back down. So we're going through each finger. So inhale, your index and thumb are together. And then as we push out, the middle finger and thumb are touching. Ring finger and thumb as we pull in. Pinky and thumb to the sides. All fingers together as we slowly inhale and then exhale. So again, a gossamer thread. Just think of pulling these invisible threads, pulling in, and then middle finger and thumb as we exhale forward. Inhale the ring finger and thumb in. Pinky and thumb out to the sides. And then all fingers together as we pull in and then exhale down. And inhale. Index, exhale. Middle finger. Inhale the pinky. Excuse me, the ring finger. Exhale the pinky. Getting ahead of myself. And then all fingers together. And then exhale. So we'll just continue, go at your own pace. Moving, opening flow to the 6 directions, right? With each finger with a specific movement. And starting with the index finger, pulling back in towards the shoulders, and then push forward, middle finger. Pulling, drawing back in with the ring finger. And then out to the sides with the pinky, and then all together. You want to keep your eyes open, you can, or you can close your eyes. Really imagining these golden threads that we're weaving up, back and forth. This web, this invisible web. Going nice and slow, imagining pulling these threads from the earth, connecting outwards, pulling back in, connecting all around, and pulling back into the center. Do that one more time. Bring it in, and then let's bring our hands down into our chi ball for a moment. Maybe close your eyes. Pulling your hands, stretching them apart, like you have a big wad of taffy, right? That you're pulling apart and stretching, and then allowing to retreat, retract. Now let's bring our arms up into this posture for a moment. Embrace the tree. Nice and relaxed. Like think of, even though we're holding up, right? We're using our arms, we're using our shoulders, we're reaching our tailbone down, the crown of the head towards the sky, but then soften the edges. Relax the wrists. And now repulse the monkey. You're going to reach the left arm forward, the right arm to the back of the room. So you're stretching in opposite directions and your palms are facing up. So on the inhale, take that back hand, pull it in towards almost like you're going to graze the side of your head. Okay. And then you're going to reach forward so that your hand is above your front arm, wrist nice and relaxed. And you're just going to push like you're swimming the arm forward. And as you do, your left arm is going to pull back. And now the opposite arms are reaching forward and backwards. Palms are facing up. So keep those wrists nice and relaxed. Give them a shake. So as we inhale, that back hand comes up right next to the side, close to your temple. And then you're almost like you're just pushing above that front arm, pushing forward. So that arm is moving forward. And then you're simultaneously, that bottom arm is pulling back. So you have like you're moving in two different the arms are moving in two different directions. So we start stretching front to back, and then you inhale that back arm up, and then you're going to push forward. And as you do, that bottom arm is pulling back, and then we reach front and back again. So slowly inhale that back hand right by your ear, coming forward, reaching forward, and that bottom arm draws back towards the back of the room. So repulse the monkey. This is part of the 5-element flow. This is actually related to the wood element, the liver and gallbladder. The gallbladder channel crisscrosses around the ear, right? Actually, where our hands come close to the head. And then as we draw that bottom arm back, we're reaching pretty close to the liver channel, which runs up the side of the body. So the movement is designed to stretch those meridian lines, but more of a metaphysical, right? The gallbladder has a lot to do, the gallbladder meridian and energy has a lot to do in Chinese medicine with decision making. There's an active energy to this channel. It's wrapping around the side of the head, and it is the paired organ to the liver. And the liver channel runs, like I said, up the body and into right around the rib cage, but there's an internal connection that runs all the way up to the crown of the head. So this is about kind of cleansing and clearing. And what does that mean? Because the liver channel rises up to the top of the head and the gallbladder wraps around the ears and has a lot of connection to decision making. There's a lot, there can be a lot of activity in our brains, right? A lot of energy rising up, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you want to think about too much energy and too much activity can cause, right, worry, too much activity in the brain, ruminations, kind of overthinking or over worrying. So as this backhand comes up and we're just above that, the inner arm of the opposite arm, come up, we're actually tracing the heart channel. There is a relationship between the wood element and the fire element. So just think of energy coming up, too much energy causing some harassing of the mind, and we're using this to energetically imagine just cleansing and clearing some of the incessant monkey mind thoughts that can cause some anxiety and just too much stimulation, right? We're taking that hand and just imagine that you're washing the channels, you're washing the mind, allowing some clarity and some cleansing. Or if you've been kind of stuck and blocked, right? Kind of cleansing some of that static interference that's maybe preventing some insights and some vision that's there. It just is behind some of these staticky, stuck ruminations. So we're just cleansing and clearing, allowing some of that agitation to drift away, so that the emotions are a lot more calm. The heart center feels more at peace. Just swimming through, gliding forward, gliding back, and then just washing away some of those incessant thoughts that may not be helping anything, just kind of causing some chi stagnation. And we're just inhaling and then exhaling and cleansing and clearing. Let's do one more inhale. And then exhale, let's come back to that posture for a moment, embrace the tree. Maybe think about this container, this invisible container that you're holding as a purified well of energy. You just used your intention to let go of some of the interference, the static that might have been clouding up some things and distorting some potential vision that you have waiting to be realized. And then let your arms drop down, come into that chi ball for a moment. And let your arms drop down. We'll do we have time for one last flow, and this is part of piercing the veil. So you're going to take your left arm and rotate it so that your palm turns out, and then take your right arm, reaching down towards the earth and rotating it. So they're both rotating outwards so that the palms are facing out. Just think of your hands almost like little tiny arrows, or maybe even little tiny acupuncture needles that's piercing the veil. Maybe the veil, some illusion that maybe you have, or that maybe you're thinking about, that you might have, that piercing that veil of maybe thinking that we're all separate, right? And piercing maybe the illusion that we're not good enough, piercing the veil of illusion that, that we're not where we're supposed to be, and just connecting what's beyond that veil, the universe above, the earth below us, and drawing in that energetic connection that we all have. And then you're going to bring spiral the hands inward back to the center so that your pinkies aren't aligned. And then now we're going to, in the opposite direction. Now your right arm is up, left arm is down, spiraling outward again, piercing through that veil. And then spiral the hands back in. And again, we'll repeat in the opposite direction. So arms spiral out, reaching up, connecting up above and below. And as the spiral the hands back into the center, you can even bend the knees slightly. And then as we reach up and down, straighten the legs a little bit so that you're getting a little longer. Your connection's reaching higher and lower. And then exhale back to the center. Let's do that one more time to each side. And back to the center. And connecting above and below. And then back to the center. Let the arms drop down. Let's inhale the arms down, around, and up. And then exhale, the hands float back down. And then inhale. And exhale. And last one, let's bring the feet together. And drop into bamboo in the wind for one final posture, bringing everything back into your center. Maybe feeling a little lighter, a little more open, a little less heavy, maybe some insight or vision. And when you're ready, you can crack your eyes open. Thanks so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little sequence. Great. I'll send this to you. You're very welcome. Willie says hello. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I will see you next week.
Monkey pulsing was great.
What's that?
I loved monkey pulsing. That was really fun.
Yeah. Yes. Monkey repulsing.
I like that.
One of my favorites.
I like the Gossamer thread because it made me really think of the energy, like in a way, when we do the same thing, I didn't think about it the same way. So it's the thread really makes you
Yeah.
sensitive to the energy or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like these little different variations can make huge changes in like how we're, the things that we do in this class, even repetitively, like small little changes can change things dramatically.
Yeah. But thanks,
Yay.
Erin.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.